I'm Professor Charles Spence, head of the Cross-Modal Research Lab here at Oxford University's Department of Experimental Psychology. The lab is interested in the senses and how they interact, and that's everything from hearing, vision, touch, taste, smell. And over the years we've kind of got more and more into the world of taste and flavour, and that maybe flavour is ultimately kind of the most multi-sensory of our experiences.
My name is Janice Wang. I'm a first year DPhil student here with Dr. Charles Spence in the Cross-Modal Lab. And I'm interested in how the senses interact, and specifically how music can interact flavor perception. So I did my master's at MIT before I came here. And I was actually in a program that was looking at music and emotion and technology because I really like music. But because I also really like wine, I used to organize these scientific wine tastings where I would put food color in the wine. But I've also done things where we have a wine and then we listen to different music while drinking the wine. And people notice how the wine really tastes different with the different music.
We're interested on sound and food. Kind of stemmed from work published about a decade ago on the sort of sonic chip, where we showed that people's perception of crunchiness and freshness of a dry food product could be enhanced simply by boosting certain frequencies of the sound when you bit into that potato chip. Work that others now have just followed up, showing that even apples or other kind of wet, crisp foods as well, if you change the sound as people are biting into them, you can change the experience. Everything from probably crispiness, crunchy, creamy, carbonated, crackly, all of those, what we think of as kind of textural attributes of food, probably have a much bigger input from our ears than we realise. So we start there, but from kind of the sounds of food itself, we got interested in the sounds of packaging, thinking about why it is that kind of noisy foods like potato chips very often come in noisy, rattly packages, and that when we play those rattly, crisp packet sounds to people as they're munching away on potato chips, that can enhance the experience of crispness and freshness. But from there on, we've been kind of moving things out to even more unusual sounds or unexpected sounds that influence taste and flavour. And for that, we're looking a lot at kind of music, particular instruments, particular pitches of sound, and how they seem to match on to certain tastes, aromas or flavours.
People have these associations between music and flavour. For example, if you play people, a sound of a piano playing a nice constant melody, most people will say that's sweet if you ask them what flavor that's associated with. So there seems to be these kinds of associations that people already make. We're not sure exactly why people make them. What I'm trying to find out is whether these associations actually have perceptual effects. So if the nice piano melody makes you think of sweetness, does it actually change the way you eat something? Does it actually make it sweeter?
In the lab downstairs here, we might give people various wine aromas, ask them, what sort of instrument seems to go with that olfactory note, what sort of pitch of sound. They're sitting in front of a virtual keyboard and they can pick any instrument, any note they want. You kind of feel like they're doing something that doesn't make sense, but if you get 10 or 20 people together, you'll find that the majority of them will say that kind of sweet tastes, for example, are higher in pitch than bitter tastes, and that bitter tastes are more likely to be the brass instrument than a piano. On the basis of those results, we then speak to or try and convince composers or sonic designers to make sounds or pick music that already exists that has the right kind of sonic components, play it back to people when they're tasting, when they're drinking, when they're eating, and demonstrate that you can really sort of deliver some sort of digital seasoning, if you will. You can make foods about 5 to 10% sweeter, or bring out the bitterness, should that be what you want, simply by changing the music or the sound in the background.